My name is Sebastian, Segawa Ivan Sebastian. I'm excited to be with you. And we are very soon going to start. Today is an exciting day for us. And a couple of things that are going to be happening. I am going to share some of those with us. Uh, but most of what is going to be happening is us having conversations about the new year, of course, and away from the new year. I think we shall also have conversations around what is happening at ULEAD and what everyone is doing out here. But also, we would love to hear from you. What has been happening with you? How has life been since we last spoke? I think during the summit. Yes, during the summit. So we are excited, extremely excited to hear everything any of us has to say. So you know the rules. Always stay in the inbox. Do share what you have to share with us. We are excited to hear from you, and let's get this conversation started. All right. As always, my name is Sebastian Segawa Ivan Sebastian, and you all know that I am your gracious and humble host for the African Youth Pulse check-in that we are undertaking today. It's been a minute. This is the first one we are having in such a long time, and for this particular one, we are receiving someone extremely important, a project manager, Beatrice Marandu, and Beatrice is going to be sharing with us exactly what project she is running and why we felt it important that we felt it important that some of these conversations are things that we need to hear uh, when we are here, some of us. So what we do now is just help me do this. Go into the comment section. When you get there, do well to share with us your, how would I put it? Yes, where you are, your name, and where you are coming from. We want to hear that. But away from that, we are also excited to hear exactly how your new year is going so far. We are in the third month. That's quite a distance we moved. So we are excited to hear how your new year too is going. So do share that with us too, so that we can see how to merge with you. Anyways, that said, I need to share a couple of things. The first thing is I'm excited for our colleagues in Nigeria. Yes, they are concluding their elections. Of course, a lot of sentiment is coming out of there, but we are quite excited that they have been able to reach the milestone of having us a peaceful election. Let's wait to hear the outcomes of that election, and I mean, let's wait to hear how the parties are playing out the election. But you know, out here we have been always excited for peaceful elections, and that is why we are all for what's the best way to put it? We are all for, yes, peaceful outcomes of elections. Away from that, a couple of other things have been happening. You guys know that last year we signed an MOU with APRM. And that too, if you have been very keen on the socials, APRM is having a couple of things they are doing. But also this year, the youth symposium of the APRM is coming on. Hopefully, before that happens, we can check in and see how we as young people can plug in. I mean, it is a youth setting, right? That is one. But also, it is important for us to also recognize that more things have been happening across the continent, specifically for those that are in Uganda. Something is happening too. We know that the president of Uganda has a state visit down in South Africa, and a couple of things that are on discussions are definitely how the two countries can better engage in business and all other relations that they have. But what's most exciting, and why, for example, I'm bringing this conversation to us, is the fact that all this is happening with quite the expectations. I think yesterday there were rumors that South Africa is going to either waive visas or ensure that Ugandans have visas on arrival. Yeah. So that is one thing that is exciting. It is yet to be confirmed, but I mean, if it happens, I will personally be excited. Colleagues that are in the SADC region surely cannot relate with us right now with what we are saying, but I need to put it very, very clearly that it will be exciting if that comes to fruition. But away from that, what else is happening? Now you guys need to tell me what is happening where you are. That is the excitement I am about here. That's the excitement I am all for. So if you are out there and something is happening where you are, do share it with us. Okay. That said, if we move away from what is happening across the continent, when we come back to East Africa, again, a couple of things have been happening. You guys know that East Africa has DRC now as its youngest member, and a lot of things have been happening around DRC. DRC, first of all, unfortunately, is still having issues with security, mostly in Eastern DRC, and the EAC has come together to ensure that, everything that happens within the region is collective effort, and a lot of intervention has gone into ensuring that ESC contributes towards peace within its region, and one of those things has been the ESC is sending a standby force. The ES is sending a standby force to help support that intervention that side. But look here, away from even the intervention that is happening in the ES in the DRC, we are also having possibly an invitation from Somalia being included into the ESC already. That work is underway. A couple of missions have been sent to verify the inclusion of Somalia into the ESC. So it's exciting things for Africa while we look towards the integration of the continent. If you are out there and something is happening where you are, do share. Just go in the comment section of whatever platform you are joining us with, and share with us what is happening where you are. We shall be very happy to hear from you. But away from that, I just want to say that the main reason we are here today is because we are having conversations around the youth democratic dialogues, and specifically these dialogues are happening in Tanzania under a project that has been dubbed the One Young Tanzania. And today I have with us the coordinator of this project, who is going to be sharing with us a few things here and there. Hello, Beatrice. First of all, Happy New Year to you from With the Pulsars here. I have been told that it is never late to say it if you're meeting someone the first time. So if I meet anyone in December and I say Happy New Year, please do not think that I'm crazy. I have been guided. So, but Beatrice, how are you doing? Where are you? Just tell us how you are so far in the new year.
Hi. First of all, can you hear me? I need to do a quick mic check because I am in quite a noisy background a bit.
We can hear you.
Perfect.
Yes.
So I don't know from what part of the world you're tuning in. Karibu. My name is Beatrice Marandu, as mentioned by Seba, and I work for Elite Africa as one of the project coordinators. And I'm currently the project manager for the U.S. Embassy project, that the One Young Tanzania, specifically conducting youth democracy dialogues across the whole of Tanzania. So, Seb, I don't know how you want us to go. Are we just going to be having?
No. Certainly, it's never uptight here at the Pulse check-in. We just want to have an understanding of the project, and I'm just going to be asking you a few questions, and hopefully those questions will be guiding our conversation. So the first one, and the first question is a pretty quick one. We just want you to tell us a little bit about the project and what inspired it.
So the project was in response to the need for young people to understand democracy across Tanzania. And the aim was to really convene, define and curate and share findings of what kind of democracy young people want across the country. And this is, of course, building upon the ongoing positive youth development work and previous projects that have been funded by the U.S. Embassy around building the capacity of young people to understand democracy, how best can they participate in different levels of decision making, and just in general, what do they envision as an ideal Tanzania for themselves as young people. So the project is going to be carried out in 6 regions specifically in Tanzania. We're looking at Dar es Salaam, Zanzibar, the Lake region, the Kilimanjaro region, the Southern Highland region, and the Southern region. Yeah, I think that really summarizes and captures it. But I could also share in terms of what are we looking at as our results for the project. So beyond the dialogue itself, we're hoping to have a comprehensive report with key recommendations and outlines of the Tanzania Young People Want. We're also going to be doing a campaign. So with that campaign, we're mostly amplifying ideas that are being brought up by young people from the conversations that are going to be hosted. We're also looking at submitting a policy brief that will then integrate and include some of these discussions that were hosted across Tanzania.
Okay. I see you have quite covered that. We are excited. I've heard that the project is going to be moving nearly through the whole country in 6 regions, you said. And I'm excited. I'll be coming back to the island. I'm very excited about that. But I just want you to, now that you have told us about the project and what it is about, and you've also shared some timelines and key milestones, I just want you to help us understand how is this project going to engage and involve the local communities and the different stakeholders and partners to ensure its success, of course.
So the project is being implemented and coordinated by what we call the Youth-Led and Youth-Serving Consortium. So these are organizations that we work with across Tanzania, and they deal with different parts and components and programmatic areas of work. Some are in governance and development, some are in entrepreneurship and innovation, some are dealing with peace and security. So they're quite a diverse pool of partners that we work with. Just to quickly mention and give a shout out to them, and I hope I don't leave anyone behind. We're currently working with Tunaweza organization based in Arusha, Voice of Youth Tanzania based in Arusha as well, Bethany International Service also based in Arusha. We're working with Pamoja Youth Initiatives. They are located in Zanzibar, and Kijana High Foundation also located in Zanzibar. We're also working with Action Aid Tanzania through their global platforms. They're based in Dar es Salaam. We're also working with Tanzania Youth Vision Association based in Dar es Salaam as well. We're also working with, just give me a second, it's quite a number of partners. We're working with Africa Youth Transformation. They're also currently based in Dar es Salaam. We're working with Mwanza Youth Initiatives, Mwanza Youth Children, and sorry, I really don't want to mess their organization name, but it's Mwanza Youth and Children's Network. They're based in Mwanza, and I think that's all of them. Seba, feel free to also let me know if I've missed one because we're working on this together.
Okay. Um,
Yeah.
No, I do think that you have actually done quite an exhaustive work with listing our partners. And I think this goes to show that you are indeed a project.
Oh, my bad, my bad. I've forgotten one. Empower Youth Prosperity. They're based in the southern part of Tanzania. So they
Okay,
specifically deal with
you
there.
did mention Pamoja, right?
Yes, I have mentioned all of them. I had just forgotten Empower Youth Prosperity.
Very well then. It is exciting that you have all these partners all over the country, and I know that these are inherently consortium members of ULEAD Africa. So it is fair to say that the whole of Tanzania is going to be captured. And now, Beatrice, you have now blown my cover. You have clearly said that we are working on this together, which we are, and I know for a
Taking
fact,
ownership.
I know for a fact that This project started on the sidelines of the ULIT Summit 2022 in December last year, and it has been undergoing. And I also know that we have been at least physically in two places. We have been in Arusha. We have also been in Mwanza. In Mwanza, yes. I just want to have you share a few quick success stories or achievements that the project has already accomplished so far.
So I think I'll start with when the project was launched. One of our success stories around it is having the former U.S. Ambassador to Tanzania. His name is His Excellency Donald J. Rice. And we had the honor of having him launch the project during the Margins of Elite Summit. And then following that, we had the first dialogue that was hosted at MS Training Center that was co-implemented with one of our consortium members, Voice of Youth Tanzania. And in that, we had quite a number of young people coming from different backgrounds. Some were university students, some were representatives of the local government. We had some influential leaders who were there. And so it was quite a diverse pool of people engaged in the conversation. And the dialogues were very, very interesting. We got to hear what young people define, what young people see or define democracy as in their context. And you'd be shocked with how people perceive democracy and what it is that they would hope the country would integrate democracy as for young people. So yeah, that was the first success we had. We had approximately 73 participants for the event, and yeah, I think that that captures it all. And then we had the second event that took place in Mwanza. We were fortunate enough to have representatives from the U.S. Embassy be there as well. The partners that implemented this specific dialogue was the Mwanza Youth and Children's Network, and they're still in the process of compiling the report because this happened, I believe, a week ago. But the reflection so far was that the young people are looking to have more of these conversations. Majority of the participants that were there were university students, and it was hosted at a university, so that was a good target audience as well. And young people really insisted on having more of these spaces, but also how best do they carry forward the conversation beyond just that one-day event. There's currently a WhatsApp group, so if you're in Mwanza and you're interested in being part of these WhatsApp groups and networks that are being formed, please do let us know. We will add you to these spaces. But overall, we've successfully hosted two events. The up and coming one is going to be in Songea in 2 weeks. And the partner is currently working on organizing that are Bethany International Services and Suno as the organization.
All right. Thank you so much. What I take from this is, first of all, being an East African and being someone who has not been a politician, but very interested in conversations. I know that, for example, how the majority of our leaders have come into the leadership structure is that they have taken up their interest in democracy and conversations around leadership processes right from their level at university. When you find that Mwalimu Nyerere, Museveni here, President Museveni here in Uganda, and most of the leaders that we have shown a keen interest in leadership when they were still at university. So I implore all students out there that if you have had hope of being a leader within Tanzania, this is specifically to Tanzania. Now is the time, mostly if you're in school, now is the time to engage in conversations as these. And now that Beatrice is leading a project that is bringing democracy dialogues at your doorstep, I think that it is imperative that you show a lot of interest in it. And I also need to say that Beatrice has already shared that in Arusha and Mwanza, we have exhausted our events there, but the community has already been built. The One Young Tanzania. If you want to be part of it, just reach out to us. You can inbox our socials. You can just comment on this video wherever you are watching it, and then we shall be able to reach out and ensure that you are connected to the right people. But also, we are going to Songea. Beatrice has mentioned that we have an event coming up in Songea in 2 weeks, nearly, because it is on the 16th. And if you are in Songea and you are keen to attend this event, do reach out to us. Beatrice has shared that our partners on ground that side, Bethany and Tunaweza, are already in preparation stage. Reach out in time so that we can ensure that you are on the list. It is also, I think I need to mention that the events are invite only, Beatrice, I believe.
Yes, for the physical participation, they are invite only, but we will be having a virtual component. Partners on ground are ensuring that there is more participation of young people from all across. So that communication will be shared on our socials. So please follow. And I think Seba, you drop them in the chat as well.
Yeah.
Um, so you all stay up to date with what's happening on ground.
True. So thank you so much. Oh, Beatrice, before I let you go, I just have one last question for you. And the question is, how is your new year going so far?
Sorry.
How is your new year going so far?
I can't complain. Definitely better than how it started last year. It's
Okay.
always good to be busy. You know, young people being idle is very counterproductive for the development of a country. So busy is good. Busy is really good.
All right. Beatrice has said it. So we encourage all of you. We are going to be in Songea on 16th. If you are around Songea, do let us know if you want to be part of the physical event. And we shall see that an invitation is extended to you. And like mentioned, that event is a closed event. It's an invite only event. So we'll need to know you. But also, Beatrice has shared with us that we are going to have a larger component that then will take in first the youth of Tanzania. But if you are outside Tanzania and you want to contribute to the conversations, I don't think we shall be locking you out. We shall be happy to hear from you. But for our colleagues in Tanzania, if you are unable to be in Arusha or in Mwanza and you have not had your region being mentioned, do not worry, we are not leaving you out. We are going to have a series of online engagements, yeah, on nearly all platforms. So you will be covered on your platform of preference. Do not worry, just hang in there. But for now, just make sure that you do this. First, always trigger yourself to have conversations around democracy. Of course, I'm going to share our handles here for the One Young Tanzania, but away from that, I also encourage that every time you feel like you're contributing towards a conversation around democracy, we want to encourage you to be part of the youth democracy dialogues. And how we shall be tracking that conversation is I am encouraging you to use just two hashtags, only two hashtags that every time you are having conversations, and most of us usually have democracy conversations online. Every time you're responding to someone online or something like that, you are having these conversations. So I will be dropping two hashtags. One is called the hashtag One Young Tanzania, and the second is the hashtag Tanzania Yetu. Let me just ensure that these two are running on the screen for our benefit. So,
But Swahili is not too bad these days.
uh, I have kept on telling everyone here that I'm a serious Swahili speaker, even if I said you are right. But I have shared the hashtags that everyone should use for the handles on every platform you go to. We are called One Young Tanzania. At One Young Tanzania on Twitter, at One Young Tanzania 22 on Instagram. I'm also going to be sharing those with us. Do follow the social media platforms and be part of these conversations. But even if you're not necessarily maybe replying to a post on those platforms and you're purely having an engagement about democracy, we encourage you to loop in these hashtags so that we can track this conversation and ensure that anything democracy and youth are having a conversation about it, we are having a similar contribution. But for now, I just want to let our first guest of the day go. Beatrice, thank you so much for joining us. Just give us your parting shots. I know it is a work day for you and you have to leave us. After your parting shots, don't forget that we say goodbye here in a local language.
I knew you were going to bring this up and try and embarrass me in public, but it's fine. My local
Hmm.
language is the one that's now being integrated across the continent, so Swahili it is. But
Mhm.
yeah, I just wanted to say that this project is a pilot of what we hope to translate across the region and have specific contexts that are addressed. So we have One Young Rwanda, One Young Kenya, One Young Uganda, One Young South Sudan. So again, don't feel like you're missing out on the opportunity. We hope to amplify this project at some point as one of our key areas of work in the coming years. Not this year. I don't want to I don't want to bring up false hope. But yes, if we succeed with this project, we will be translating it into a bigger context. Just so we also engaging young people from all across the region. With that being said, that should not stop you from commenting on our socials from wherever you are. I know we're going to be sharing very thoughtful, evocative ideas and concepts of democracy. Feel free to jump in and share your thoughts around it, pose a question, and if it's not responded to by us, also our partners that we're working with will respond to you. And feel free to look out for some of the live links when the conversations are going to be happening so you're following through. With that being said, thank you again, Seba, for hosting me. I do have to get back to work, and I'll see you the rest of the continent some other time when I'm hosted on this platform.
All right. Thank you so much, Beatrice, for accepting to be with us and sharing with us this amazing project. Hopefully, the African youth are going to engage with the One Young Tanzania project, and that you have shared. It is a pilot that can be
Mm.
replicated elsewhere. We do hope that we can see that come to fruition. For now, you can drop at will after saying goodbye to us.
Aha. Kwaherini, nawatakia siku njema.
Okay. Okay. So that
Bye
was
bye.
Cheers, Beatrice. Thank you so much. I can't stress enough how important it is that if you are out there and you are a young person living in Tanzania, this is a conversation that you must be part of, the One Young Tanzania. And this conversation can be tracked with two hashtags, One Young Tanzania and the hashtag Tanzania Yetu. Okay, that said, let's jump into Songea. I have already mentioned, and Beatrice has shared with us that an event is coming up from that side. And what is going to happen is I'm going to look out for the two organization leads or members from that organization that we are partnering with to deliver that. And sometime next week on Monday, they will be sharing with us how the preparations and hopefully for the comrades in Songea, we shall have more hands-on direction on how we can participate physically in that event. But when it comes to online, we have already shared what you need to do. Make sure that first of all, you go on Instagram and Twitter, follow us, One Young Tanzania. And when you do that, join the conversations. Every time we put up a post, be keen enough to engage with it. But also, every time you are having conversations around democracy, use these hashtags and feel free to tag the accounts of these projects so that we can see how most to engage. And for example, if you want to engage with someone in democracy and you want to see how they did it and how you can contribute, you can make that request to us and we see whether we can reach out to them. Notice that this project will be running specifically for Tanzania for now, and that's why the outcry and the call is for Tanzanian young people, so that we can create a One Young Tanzania collectively, and from that we shall contribute to something that is bigger than us, something that will be replicated in other East African countries, and ultimately we see that we realize a One Young Africa by putting this outside there for the rest of the continent. Okay, away from that, we have had conversations around the One Young Tanzania, but a lot has been happening on our side, and I thought that I should share that with you, considering that this is our first meeting this year. The first thing I want to share with you is what happened at the summit, you guys. And I know that my comrade, the last person I did this Youth Pulse check-in, which was Daniel Njuguna. Daniel, I shouts out to you. I know that that day we had a lot of unfinished tea to share with our colleagues here on what exactly happened during the summit. However, Now I don't have to share that because a report of the ULEAD Summit 2022 was already released. If you want to know the outcomes of the summit that might be impactful to you, I invite you to come to our website, www.ulead.africa. And when you get to the website, you will see the navigation tools. Just go to publications. There will be a report, ULEAD Summit 2022 report. You are welcome to read through and see exactly how the summit went and the outcomes, because a lot of things happened and I bet they are going to be extremely productive for you. Okay, couple of things. The first thing I want to share with you is for youth in business, and you guys know that that is usually our first day. The Under 40 Leaders Forum. A couple of things happened there. You guys already know about the ESC Youth Fellowship, and I dare say that it is launching this year, the ESC Youth Fellowship. So keep your eyes, ears on the ground, and by the ground, I mean the ULEAD Africa social media platforms. When this is going to be released, the call to be part of this fellowship. It is intended to be one of the biggest fellowships in the region, so you want to be part of it. And the fellowship is being brought together by the East African community, the Jakaya Mrisho Kikwete Foundation, MSTCDC, ULEAD Africa. You guys know that MSTCDC is our mother organization in Arusha. And then the Julius Nyerere Leadership Center hosted at Makerere University in Kampala. And then let me just make sure that I am not missing any of our partners on the project. But there is one partner in Kenya that I am trying to make sure that I get the name right. I'm going to get it and I'll share it with you. But it has 5 partners for now. If you are a partner out there and you're interested in contributing towards the growth of our leaders, of our young leaders in the East African region, you are welcome to reach out to us, and we can see how best you can partner to be part of the ESC Youth Fellowship. Away from the fellowship, for the youth in business, 2 things are key here. I'm sorry, I'm just going to be, flowing through all this because the detail is in reading that report on our website. You need to go and read it and then see exactly how you can plug in. The second thing I was coming to was the youth in business. Youth in business, 2 things happened. First of all, the African Youth Business Council was launched. The African Youth Business Council was launched. So if you are running a youth-led, youth-serving business and you're in Africa, you have got to be part of the African Youth Business Council. And for now, we just have the council. It has its interim leadership that was, of course, selected through a process. You guys remember last year we put out a call. A couple of people showed interest, and after that was put out of the way, us getting the interim leadership, which will be running show for some time. We then made a call for membership, and the call was just open to any youth business across the continent to be able to be part of this African Youth Business Council. And the intention is to ensure that efforts are brought together to maximize opportunities for youth in business across the continent. Mostly those youth that have already started, that are on that pedestal, already have their companies and running. And I dare say that when the call for membership was made, it was only made for 1 month, which was January, starting and ending of January. And so far now, the African Youth Business Council has over 300 members. And I encourage you that before this thing blows away and leaves you behind, if you're a youth in business, you are welcome to reach out to us. But most importantly, also go to the African Youth Business Council social media platforms and see how best to engage out there. It is critical for 2 reasons. One is that this year, guys, the conversations across the whole continent, and this is the theme of the AU, the African Union, is that all conversations are going to be about, okay, not all conversations are going to be about the AFCFTA, but the theme of the AU this year is driving the AFCFTA agenda forward. Not in those exact words, but the theme is around the AFCFTA, the African Continental Free Trade Area Stroke Agreement. So The plan then would be that if you are a youth either interested in business or a youth that is running business, you cannot be left behind. Not in the year where the AU is prioritizing AFCFTA, but most importantly, not in the year where for the first time we are having a body at continental scale that is bringing together youth-led businesses and youth-serving businesses to ensure that we maximize our impact and ensure that we benefit the most from the AFCFTA. And of course, this is going to bring a lot of benefits, negotiating capacity, ensuring that we have the best out of the African Continental Free Trade Area. We already have a couple of young people, members of the African Youth Business Council, that are trading under the AFCFTA. And a lot of negotiations are, of course, happening around youth and women involvement in the AFCFTA. And the council, the African Youth Business Council, is going to also take a critical role in ensuring that it's part and contributes towards these conversations. And I think that if you're a young person in business, you need to be part of the council, contribute towards these conversations so that ultimately, when it is sealed on how young people are engaging in the AFCFTA, one, your contribution, your idea has been captured, but two, you are part of the privileged group that will be benefiting mostly from this engagement. But away from the African Youth Business Council, we also have the old man in the room when it comes to AFCFTA, which is the ICOYACA, the Independent Continental Youth Advisory Council on the AFCFTA. And ICOYACA, you guys know about it. You know about its leadership, and that is why I'm mentioning it. That ICOYACA has also released the call for membership and even its leadership. It is also out there. Notice that the African Youth Business Call has closed for now. It will, of course, be opened again after a particular time, after the leaders of the Youth Business Council guide on how they are engaging the members they have now. But the ICOYACA, the Independent Continental Youth Advisory Council on AFCFTA, has released the call for membership, and the membership is threefold. The first one, you can be a community champion, and you guys have seen very many champions of AFCFTA and under ICOYACA that have been with us for, I think, the past year since we had ICOYACA inaugurated in the ULEAD Summit of 2021. We have had numerous country chapters that have been opened, and I think we are now over 45 countries where ICOYACA is based, which is a good thing. And kudos to the leadership of ICOYACA. But now you have an opportunity as a young person in business or a young person passionate about the African Continental Free Trade Area to contribute towards growing this AFCFTA agenda, specifically for the interest of youth and women. And from that is where I invite you, still go on our socials or just search out ICOYACA and fill in their call. Their call is about champions. It is also seeking for its leadership, and it is also seeking for its consortium community. So there are options there that you can go into, and it is a very short application process. It shouldn't take you more than 5-7 minutes. So I also invite you to go to that. And lastly, while I exit the summit and the opportunities it brought, the summit also, you guys know that we do have a component of peace and security every time we are running the summit. And last year, that component was on top of some of the agendas that we ran. You guys remember that last year, one of the EAC countries had a calendar election coming up. This year, it is not different. Last year, it was Kenya, and we ran a Kenya ya Amani, which is Kenya for Peace campaign, which was very successful. And we reached out to 1 million youth in the East African community that contributed. Guys, 1 million in this region. It was exciting. It was exciting. And it was testament to how many young people are interested in these peace conversations. It was testament to how many young people are putting their foot on the ground to say, look here, for far too long, you have used us to, perpetrate electoral violence, but not this year. Not this year and not in Kenya. And this year, for those that don't know, we have another calendar election coming up for an East African community country. Of course, other African countries are also having elections, and that's why I opened up with Nigeria, because at ULEAD Africa, we are one young Africa, and we stand in solidarity with the rest of the continent. But I just wanted to say that in lieu of the conversations around peace and security, something recently happened that as an outcome of the ULEAD summit last year, we sat down with our partners, Oxfam, Oxfam of the Horn, East and Central Africa, which is Oxfam HECA, together with ULEAD Africa, recently, as recent as this week, Monday and Tuesday, we had a training around cybersecurity and ensuring that your presence on the internet is secured and safeguarded. Yeah. So this call went out around peace and security, and I need to share with you how amazing it was. Of course, the call ran for just 1 week, and it had over 400 applicants, but the training was specific to 100 people. And why that was is so that the trainers were able to engage and have ample time for each and every participant. And at ULEAD Africa and our partners, Oxfam HECA, we felt it wise that if we are going to conduct this training, it has got to be something that is going to be impactful. And that's why we ensured that the numbers are numbers that we were able to interact with one-on-one. But I need to tell you how these numbers were looking, like which people were constituting these numbers. And this was mind-blowing, even for me. First of all, we had people that were practicing, experts that about peace and security that applied to be part of this training. Of course, a few of them were selected, a couple of them were not. We had professionals, let alone experts, but people in their professional fields. I think we did have medical personnel. We did have the medical personnel we had were mostly those that were working psychology. Apparently, the medical world has been hit with a lot of mental health issues that have been triggered by online or the online and cyber community. So these doctors were keen to know exactly how they could advise their patients around, online safety. Away from that, we also had a couple of layers and other professionals that I will not go into. And then we had university graduates and undergraduates that were still at university, which for now, you guys still feel like, okay, Seba, you are still rolling out a list that is expected. But here is the blow. Friends, we had a school in Tanzania that accepted its students, first of all, to apply. And when three young ladies were given the green light to attend the training, this school, and I still do not, I've forgotten its name. I'll share it in our next interaction. But this school provided the computer laboratory and the internet, all the facilities these students needed to come and be part of this cyber training. But even then, when we had conversations and introductions, everyone was sharing what they were doing. Apparently, these students are very interested in this cyber world. They know that in 2023, clearly, the world is going digital, and everyone needs to be keen on what conversations that they are having in the digital space. And I, first of all, was very impressed by the school administration, but also by the interest of these youngsters in this conversation. And they were very active. Okay, everyone was very active because it was some of the best training I have attended myself. It was extremely productive and developmental. And I, first of all, want to appreciate everyone that applied to be part of the training, and also congratulate the 100 that were ultimately selected, and inform them that your certificates will be coming in next week. So hold tight. Hold tight. All right. That said, I have spoken for exactly 44 minutes, and usually you guys know that we go 45 for the African Youth Pulse check-in. But if you are to forget anything that has happened today in today's session, and I made it deliberate that today I come mostly alone, and we had Beatrice for a couple of times so that I could unpack some of these things. And going forward, we shall just now be interacting with different guests and picking on different perspectives. But for now, if you are to forget anything I have said, four things should be key. The first one is that we are running a campaign called the One Young Tanzania under the Youth Democratic Dialogues. And the intention here is for us to have conversations of the Tanzania young people in Tanzania want. So do not miss out on that. Make sure you go and look for One Young Tanzania on Twitter, on Facebook, and on the Gram and LinkedIn. Make sure that you are part of those conversations. The second thing is that the African Youth Business Council was launched during the ULEAD Summit. If you are a youth running business and a company on the African continent, you have no business not being a member of the AFYBC, the African Youth Business Council. So look out for that and also reach out to the leadership of the council. I will be hosting the leadership of ICOYACA. I will also be hosting the leadership of the African Youth Business Council sometime next week. And then they explain best to us how these are supposed to go. But for now, I'm telling you that you don't want to miss out. And then lastly, I talked about ICOYACA and that they have launched a call for application. So just go on ICOYACA pages or the ULEAD Africa pages, get that call, fill it in, and be an AFCFTA champion or be a consortium member of the Independent Youth Advisory Council and the AFCFTA, or even be part of the leadership of the council because that call is also out. That said, I now want to say that I'm very grateful for most of you that have been able to keep with me for the last 45 minutes. Thank you so much. It is nice to know that the African Youth Pulse community is still strong even in the new year. That's exciting for me. I also want to say that today I was unable to catch your comments because I have a small technical challenge here that I will settle and return back. But for now, I want to say that from myself and the ULEAD Africa Events Bureau, thank you so much. Happy New Year, and see you next time we meet. Cheers, One Africa. I remain Sebastian Ivan Segawa, your host here. I'm out.